Hello, are you ready for today's nutrition topic? Yay, I know you're so excited. If you're like me, you are. Let me get comfortable here. So today's topic is peanuts, beans, and soy. And I think these are really interesting ones because they each have their own little, quirks, and they also have a lot in common. So I decided to lump them together and cover the high points for you so we can maybe go back later and break them down individually at some point if we decide that, or if you decide that you're interested in it, let me know. So the thing about peanuts, beans, and soy is that they're similar to grains in that they have these phytates, right? And if you remember from my grains video, the phytates are the anti-nutrients. They're what keep your body from absorbing the nutrition that's in this food. Because remember, when we talk about what we're eating and what we're putting into our body, we want to always weigh the good against the bad, right? Like, does it have more nutritional value than it does negative impact on our body? So, when you are consuming these, that's obviously what you want to think about. You also want to consider if you have a healthy digestive system already, or if you're trying to work on that. Like, a healthy digestive system should move ideally after each and every meal, but as long as you are moving regularly on a daily basis, I would think you would be fine. Now, if you are having issues going to the bathroom way too frequently or not enough, then you definitely need to take a look at how these foods could be affecting your body. Because again, a lot of these are looked at as health foods, and they are in some ways because they are low in calorie and high in nutrients. But the problem is the phytates that these foods contain. Now, one of the things about phytates in nuts and beans and soy is that some of the research shows that we can reduce those by soaking, rinsing, cooking, sprouting, fermenting, that we can reduce the negative effects when we process these foods before we consume them in those ways. Well, that you can, but you're not going to be able to remove them completely. So depending on how sensitive your body is, you really need to be aware and be careful about how much of them you are consuming, okay? So first, let's chat about beans. So beans have like a good and bad reputation, right? Like, when you start talking about beans, there's all kinds of like boy jokes attached to beans. And, I live with a bunch of guys, and so there's always jokes surrounding beans, giving you gas or whatever. And why this happens is because when they go into your digestive system, they're fermenting because they're not getting processed the way that they should because of those difficult proteins to break down. So then they're disrupting your gut bacteria and can cause gas and bloating and cramps and stomach pain and all kinds of other digestive issues. So this is the problem that we have with beans. Now, again, if you rinse them before you cook them, if you soak them overnight, if you want to sprout them, a lot of those ways is going to lower the amount of negative impact that they're going to have on your body. So that's something to really be aware of there. The second one is soy. And soy, in my opinion, is probably one of the biggest ones to watch out for. I don't consume soy, period, because of, what I'm about to tell you about. So soy contains phytoestrogens or isoflavones that bind and stimulate estrogen receptors in the body. So this is not just on women, this can be on men. So again, this is another place where you're going to find a lot of conflicting research on soy producing or overproducing estrogen in males. the thing about it is a little bit of soy, you're not gonna be able to tell a difference. But a lot of times people will switch even their babies onto soy milk if they have a milk allergy, or, you know, they'll switch their kids or themselves, or they'll start consuming soy proteins. And then they get all these estrogen side effects that they don't realize that are connected. And this happens in men and women. So the thing about it is it's not that estrogen is a bad thing. It's that when you pull this into your body, you have no control of the amount of estrogen it's going to stimulate. So you're basically ingesting an unknown dose. Whereas if you need, you know, hormone replacement or help with something like that, it needs to be controlled, because you can't. If you're pulling in too much, it's going to cause issues. If you're pulling in too little, like, it's not, the problem is that's not what we are typically consuming soy for. Usually it's consumed by vegans or somebody with an allergy, or, you know, even just soybeans. And again, I don't have a problem with soy. I think you just need to be very aware of the issues of the hormone related issues that it can turn up in your body. You know, there's been a lot of studies showing, you know, that it can cause man breasts, and you know, who wants that, right? Like, you don't want to give that to your kids. You don't want your kids dealing with that. I personally, you know, we've talked before about my hormone issues, and you know, when I'm already working to balance my hormones in my body, I definitely don't want to go and consume something that's going to, like, send those haywire even more, okay? Now, I don't think things like soybean oil or anything like that is really going to make a big difference, because you're not consuming a large quantity of it, so you should be perfectly fine. I'm talking about, like, soy-based foods that you would eat frequently as a diet or health supplement, right? Like the soy milk, your soy protein, soy cheese, tofu, things like that. If you're consuming them regularly, you need to be aware of how that is affecting your body. And you know what? If you're not having any problems with it, then that's perfectly fine. But you need to be aware that this is, I mean, it is going to be binding to those receptors, period, in your body. So that's something to know what's going on again, right? Anyway, the last one is going to be peanuts. The biggest issue with peanuts is the lectin in peanuts. So lectin is resistant to digestion, which again sits in the gut, ferments, messes with your gut bacteria, leaches out through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, and can cause inflammation anywhere in your body. This is why people have peanut allergies, but not nut allergies. It's a specific lectin protein in there that can cause major issues for people. Now, the nuts themselves, again, do have nutritional value, but if your digestive system is not healthy, you need to be aware of what can be going on. It may be connected to some skin issues you have, to inflammation in your joints, or, you know, brain fog or lack of energy, those kinds of things. So, you know, anytime you have a food that messes with the bacteria in your gut, you need to be very careful and very aware. I love peanut butter, absolutely love it, but I know from experience that if I eat too much of it, it can cause me major digestive issues. My first experience with it was, I was out of training for bar, I think. I was at some sort of fitness training, and I had forgotten to bring my food for the day. And so I had a big bag of nuts, peanuts in my bag. And so I had just been snacking on those all day. Well, on my drive home that night, because it was about an hour away, I was, all of a sudden, my stomach started hurting so bad. I like couldn't even drive. I had to pull over to the side of the road. I thought like I was gonna die. So what had happened was I had had way too many peanuts, and those proteins had built up in my digestive system, and my body could not process them. Anyway, so, I came home and, took some marshmallow and yellow dock root and got on a heating pad, and anyway, got rid of the problem. But, I think that it's just something to really be aware of, because it can cause you like a gallbladder attack. It can cause major stomach pain. And one more thing that's not on peanuts directly, but, we all love peanut butter, right? So I think you have to watch your peanut butter too. A lot of times there's a lot of added things in there, and we talk about eating whole foods, right? Like, you really do just need to eat the nut or go make your own peanut butter where the little machine grinds it for you. But I am the most guilty here of store-bought peanut butter. So you need to be really careful with the consumption there, because it's easy for me anyway, to sit there and eat a whole jar of peanut butter with an apple or something. So anyway, be really aware of what's going on here with the peanuts, beans, and soy, and watch out for it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later.